There are moments in life when a woman is silently telling you she wants you. And yet, most men walk right past those moments as if nothing happened. Not because they're blind, but because they were never taught how to see. Today, I'm going to open your eyes to a language you've heard all your life, but never truly understood. The language of lust signals. And this isn't just another dating tips conversation. This is a decoding session. We're going to start with the signs you might think you already know. The obvious, the ones you've seen 100 times, but never realized what they truly meant. Then we'll move deeper into the hidden signs, the kind so subtle they fly under the radar of 90% of men. By the time we're done, you'll be reading her interest like a book. Now here's the promise. By the end of this talk, you'll be able to tell when a woman is imagining being with you before she even realizes she's showing it. You'll no longer be guessing, no longer wondering if you're reading too much into it. You'll know. And once you know, you'll never miss your moment again. But before we get to those hidden, powerful signs, we have to start with something more dangerous. The words. Because sometimes she's not silent. Sometimes she tells you exactly what's on her mind. But she says it in a way that makes most men walk away. And if you don't understand that, you'll fail before you even start. That's where we begin. The everyday phrases women say when they want you, but don't want to look like they want you. These are the lines that sound like rejection to the untrained ear. But to the man who knows, they're an invitation. And once you hear them differently, you'll never unhear them. Let's start with one of the biggest mind twisters of them all. She looks you in the eye and says, "We are not having sex tonight." Most men hear that and think, game over. They mentally switch off, start planning their exit. But here's the truth. In many cases, that's her way of lowering her own resistance. She's not telling you what's not going to happen. She's telling you what she's already thinking about. It's a test. She wants to see if you panic, or if you can remain calm, confident, and let the night unfold. The moment you understand that, your whole approach changes. And think about it. If intimacy wasn't already in her mind, why bring it up? Why mention it at all? This line isn't about pushing you away. It's about making sure she can lean into her desire without feeling judged. A man who reacts with ease instead of shock is the man she feels safest exploring that desire with. Remember that. Here's the next one. And it's far more innocent on the surface. You smell good. Now, a lot of men brush this off like it's just casual politeness. Big mistake. Complimenting your scent is deeply personal. She's not just noticing you. She's imagining being closer to you. Smell is the most primal of our senses, tied directly to memory and attraction. If she comments on how you smell, she's already envisioning what it would be like to be pressed against you. That's not a friend compliment. That's her subconscious speaking out loud. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes the phrase comes wrapped in a little confession. She leans in and says, "I don't usually do this, but..." That's not small talk. That's her signaling that she's about to cross her own line. For you. She's giving herself permission to step outside her normal behavior. And she wants you to know it's special. If you hear those words, understand that you've already passed her internal test. But here's the thing. Handle it wrong, and she'll snap right back into her usual self. Handle it right, and you've got her full attention. And then there's the deceptively casual question. Do you live close by? On paper, it's just logistics. In reality, it's her mentally mapping out how far she'd have to go if things progress. This is her quietly checking the runway. And if she's asking, it means the thought has already crossed her mind. The untrained man answers without a second thought. The trained man hears the real question. If I wanted to, could this happen tonight? Now, these aren't the only phrases. There are dozens more, each with their own hidden meaning. But these four, these are the classics. The ones that, if you learn to hear them differently, will change the way you experience every conversation with a woman. But as powerful as these are, they're still the surface level. The obvious clues wrapped in words. The real art, the real mastery, comes when you learn to see the signs she doesn't speak. The body language, the shifts in energy, the tiny, involuntary signals that tell you more than any sentence ever could. And that's where we're going next. Into the hidden, powerful signs that once you recognize them, you will never miss your moment again. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button. If this is already hitting something real, what's coming next will hit even harder. Let's keep going. Now we're moving into the territory where most men fail. Not because they're not smart, but because these signs are quiet. They're not loud, they're not announced, and they rarely show up all at once. But here's the truth. These are the real indicators of lust. The ones she can't fully control. The ones that slip out before she can filter them. And if you can read these, you'll see her desire before she even admits it to herself. Let's start with one that almost always goes unnoticed, her voice. You might be in the middle of a normal conversation. Maybe you're talking about work, travel, or something that has nothing to do with attraction. Then suddenly, her voice drops. It becomes softer, slower, almost intimate. This is not random. Women instinctively adjust their tone when they're drawn to a man, and the softer pace is her way of inviting you into her emotional space. If you notice her speaking differently only with you, that's your first green light. And here's what makes this so important. She might not even realize she's doing it. It's a subconscious signal, like a shift in body temperature. The voice is one of the most ancient tools of seduction, and she's using it without even knowing. Most men blow past it, thinking she's just being nice. The trained man hears it and knows something just changed. But here's where the game gets even more interesting. The mirroring. You lean in slightly, and a few moments later, she leans in too. You touch your face, and she does the same. This isn't coincidence. This is her brain syncing with yours. Mirroring is an unconscious way of saying, I'm in rhythm with you. I'm connected to you. In psychology, it's a sign of deep rapport. In attraction, it's often the bridge between flirting and intimacy. When you catch her mirroring your movements, don't rush. That's the moment to deepen the connection. Because whether she knows it or not, she's already stepping into your frame. And then there's the move that's so subtle, it almost feels accidental. Isolation. You're in a group setting, maybe with friends, maybe at a social event. And somehow, without you planning it, you and her end up alone in a corner or walking a few steps ahead of everyone else. Sometimes she engineers it. Sometimes it just happens. But either way, if she wanted the safety of the group, she'd have stayed there. When a woman deliberately removes herself from the group to be with you, even if it's just for a moment, that's not chance. That's intent. And intent is everything. But perhaps the most primal, unfiltered signal of all. Her eyes. There's something that happens in her pupils when she's drawn to you. They dilate. They open just a little wider, taking in more of you, literally letting in more light. Science has proven this reaction. It's tied to the nervous system, and she cannot fake it. Combine that with longer than normal eye contact, and you're no longer guessing. You're reading straight from her biology. Now let me make this clear. One sign alone doesn't mean she's ready to sleep with you. Attraction is a puzzle. But when you start stacking these together, the softer voice, the mirroring, the isolation, the dilated pupils, you're no longer dealing in guesswork. You're reading a pattern, and patterns tell the truth. And here's the part most men never get to. When you see these signs, it's not about pouncing, it's about holding your frame. Why? Because the moment she feels you understand her desire, and you're confident enough not to rush it, that desire grows. Women are drawn to men who can handle tension. They want to feel safe in their attraction, not rushed into it. That's why the man who sees but doesn't jump usually wins. So here's the challenge I'll leave you with. In the next week, pay attention. Not to the loud signals, not to the obvious words, but to the quiet. Listen to her tone. Watch her body language. Notice the way she moves around you. Because once you learn to read these hidden signs, you'll never again wonder if she wants you. You'll already know.